All right, gents, we're going to have a chat about women. Everyone likes to talk about women, don't they?
Continue.
But this is something I see come up on my timeline quite regularly. And so we're going to have a chat about it because I have some advice. And I say this as a man who's dated dozens of women over the course of his life and got married in his mid-30s and has been married for a decade. I have quite a lot of experience with women, and I've learned a lot over the years. And I've come to the conclusion that basically, and I really sincerely mean this from the bottom of my heart, you never need to actually listen to what a woman wants.
Look, listen, I understand the chauvinist bravado that a lot of dudes have on the internet makes them feel powerful, okay? But that's all it is. It makes you feel powerful. You see, we live in a society, American society specifically. Sargon lives in a European society. And in that society, we have rule of law. We have, the prison industrial complex. We have the police force. We have the court system. We have all these different legal things that will hold you to task should you do something wrong. These forces can also be, well, to be quite frank, manipulated by people who are quite crappy as well. So if you make the foolhardy mistake of believing that women are not powerful agents in the world, if you make the mistake of believing that women cannot harm you with systems and forces that go well beyond your strength, well, my friend, I must tell you, you're a goddamn fool, and you're stupid and dumb if you think your chauvinist bullshit is going to hold a candle to the court system, the family court system, divorce court, my friend. It won't. So you have to be wise and actually think about women as people, as individuals that have agency, individuals that also must adhere to rule of law, who also must have some integrity, honor, compassion, wisdom, dare I would say, love. Because women can harm you spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and financially. And you'd be a damn fool to think that just because you have this chauvinist belief that you could just disregard how they feel and what they want, and you just go bulldoze through life and just have them around as an accessory, that they won't harm you. Go talk to Shannon Sharp. Have a chat with him. Have a chat with him, old bean.
You don't have to pay attention. Like, you'll see posts like this everywhere, right? Woman says that she wants a man of minimum height of 6'2", a job with no earnings cap, takes only business flight, in shape and works out regularly. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, and I want Sydney Sweeney on a bed of, like whipped cream. I want to have the entire day.
Yes, but the difference, Sargon, is that you've been married for 10 years to a woman that's not like Sydney Sweeney. You didn't say, well, I never can have Sydney Sweeney, so I'll never need a female ever again. Because I didn't get what I wanted. I never need another member of the opposite sex forever until I die. See, that's the night and day difference, Sargon. You, I won't say settled, but you at least accept, in reality, no matter how much you want Sydney Sweeney, it doesn't even matter if Sydney Sweeney is actually a good romance partner or not. Who really flipping knows, right? No one really knows her except her close circle of friends. Even if you want her as the standard of beauty, so to speak, a woman who is like her, there are barriers to get to her. Like, she has agents. No one really talks to her directly. Maybe you see her randomly one night at a nightclub. Then say, if you have to, well, roll it for initiative. Roll your charisma check and see if she fancies you anyway, right? There's degrees of separation between you and Sydney, but there are not degrees of separation between you and how you met your wife, however you met her. I don't really care, to be quite honest with you. The point is, you accept the complexities of reality, and you accept that no matter how much you want Sydney Sweeney, there are degrees. You're just separated by numerous different things. A lot of ladies do not accept that. They either desire the super ultra mega nigga, the son of Batman. They either desire Thor. They want King Arthur. They want the future king of Britain. He who pulled the sword from the stone. At least that not be you. Do not even apply. That's how a lot of women operate. And so, my friend, you can say that you don't care, but they don't care either. And all we really will have at the end of the day are just two people who don't care. So what the flip are we doing?
I want this, that, and the other too, but I'm not going to get it. And in reality, I'm more likely to go for something that is actually attainable than go for something that is just a flight of fancy. Like, asking people to list in the abstract their perfect this, that, and the other is pointless because almost no one fits those criteria, and you know that their ex-boyfriends didn't meet these criteria as well.
Yeah, Sargon, but again, that's the thing, right? It might be the case that you're right in that a small subset of people don't fit that. But what some women do is in the interim of hoping they can, find themselves, I don't know, a Superman, a Thor, a Tony Stark. In the interim, they'll find themselves taking strokes from the likes of Lobo. Find themselves in these awful relationships with the likes of Count Dracula. Find themselves having a close encounter with the Wolfman. See, the problem is that even though what they say they want, again, is Captain America, they oftentimes find themselves making deals with Mephisto. Listen, my point is just for you all who don't understand my analogy. My point is that in between their statements of wanting, the greatest male of whom they could possibly get, they will fill their time with some craptastic individuals who excite them, which will become important throughout the course of this video, actually.
Their future boyfriends are not going to meet these criteria because actually this is not really what women actually want. Because what she's designing here is a statue, right? What she's designing here is like a person without a personality. Notice she's not saying he needs to be funny. He needs to make me think. He needs to challenge me. He needs to do this. No.
That's because, again, they don't care. The reason why they don't say it is because, one, they either imply that that's kind of part of it. Like, you see, the thing is, people used to do this thing, right? They would use a word that kind of encapsulates multiple ideas all into one. That word used to be nice guy. But then men listened to women and tried to apply what that word represented, that they would do all of those things you just listed as a catch-all, as words are wont to do, to describe things with a label to communicate the idea effectively. That's what we used to do. But then, women hated the fact that men were nice guys, and because they didn't like nice guys, they couldn't accept the fact that there was something wrong with them, so they had to take a crap on the nice guys. Which is what you're doing actually right now, by the way. I just want you to know, Sargon, that like you drank the Kool-Aid and you're about to participate in the same nonsense that they do. We'll get there. Go ahead.
She's designing someone who isn't a person. And since you're a person, you don't need to worry about her categories because you are not going to be like her AI butler or whatever she thinks she's designing, as if she's the main character in your relationship.
She doesn't need to worry about you. That's the truth. Truth be told, if you don't fit her categories, she will dismiss you offhand. Unless you have something to quote-unquote offer her, unless you have something that strikes her fancy, unless you do a thing that gets her to pay attention to you, well, Sargon, in the same way you're not supposed to care about what she wants, well, she can quite easily not care about what you want, my nigga. And thus, once again, we have two people who don't care about each other. So why are we here?
Frankly, you're the main character in the relationship, and she wants you to be, and you have to act like it. And if you don't act like it, well, then she's going to be like this woman in this video. Now, I'm going to play this because I actually kind of feel for her, because she's an attractive lady, so I'm sure she got all of the requirements, right? There's money. Let's watch.
All right, I might have to take my own advice because right now I am so frustrated by the fact that I can't see anything more with this guy I'm seeing.
My dear, it sounds like to me you are entirely the problem. Though I am extremely curious as to how everyone will make this somehow men's fault.
And he's a great guy. He's a great guy on paper, great guy in person. And I just don't understand why I don't see more with him.
I just can't do it. I can't take this shit no more, man.
I'm seeing. And he's a great guy. He's a great guy on paper, great guy in person. And I just don't understand why I don't see more with him. Like, what made me want to see more with my exes? You know, like, it's so, I don't know why I'm getting emotional, but it's so frustrating.
My dear, I would imagine whooping your own ass would make you emotional. I would imagine defeating yourself absolutely would make you emotional. Listen, here's the thing, and this could be its own video dissertation, which is probably long overdue, honestly. But there are, I would say, to save time, about 3 different reasons as to how we get here. Reason 1, which will be the primary thing we'll be discussing, is boredom, lack of attraction, lack of excitement. Even if the person is conventionally attractive, there's no excitement. Why? Her nervous system might be fried due to trauma. Honestly, it could be family trauma. It could be relationship trauma in the past. Either way it goes, she's using relationships as a form of entertainment, as a way to feel, to be stimulated emotionally. Reason number 2, she's just not attracted to him. The nigga is indeed a great person. By all stretches and by every metric of the imagination, she should be fine with it. But she's not attracted to him, which is a little bit different than lacking in excitement. This is more lacking in sexual desire. The need to have her P-word stuffed, have her pocket stuffed, you know what I mean? And then there's reason number 3. Reason number 3 is she doesn't feel like she deserves to be with a good person. And so, instead of recognizing that she could, I don't know, become a better person worthy of a great individual, she instead throws it back on them and is just confused as to why she couldn't be with him, even though it all comes down to her low self-esteem and her lack of ego. Regardless of the reasons, they're all her. None of them really have much to do with the male. I guess being ugly. I guess. I mean, you can try to do something about that, but not too much, But anyway, those are my 3 reasons at the top of my head as to why we could be here. But as I said, we're going to be primarily focusing on the first reason. And by the way, I'm not going to go through all of Sargon's video here, because I imagine that this is already pretty long as it is now. So anyway, we'll continue.
Like, he's a great guy. He's like such a good guy, and it's like and then I don't see more with him. It's like,
the thing that kind of really concerns me the most is the fact that it is just extremely selfish, and I think a lot of people really don't kind of pick apart the idea that if you acknowledge that the man is a great person, why don't you as a woman have any desire, any compassion to reward his goodness? Like, there's no drive in a woman to see a man be a good person, and then they say to themselves, damn, I should protect that goodness and cultivate it and help him in life. Like, their brain, it doesn't clock to them that that's totally possible. Instead, what is she concerned with? I don't see it. Me. It's just, goodness gracious. We're supposed to pick wives out this bunch? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm sure he is such a great guy, and I'm sure he's a really good guy, and I'm sure he checks all the boxes. I mean, on paper, he's great. But this is the point, and I really think, honestly, it all basically boils down to this.
Oh, does it?
You need to be the person in charge of your relationship. Now,
and pray tell how one is to do that when the other person can unilaterally decide to end the relationship for no reason at any point in time. Do pray tell, how is one supposed to possibly be able to accomplish such a goal, Sargon?
That doesn't mean in the sort of trad Christian LARPing, women submitting to men ideology. That, to me, that always feels very inauthentic, and it rings weird in my ears whenever I hear that kind of language.
Ah, yes, that's the one that's wrong and leaves a bad taste in your mouth. The one that has a clear hierarchical structure of honor and compassion and goodness. Men are quite literally commanded to love their wives, to die for them. I do find it also very fascinating that then submitting to your greatest defender is somehow icky and weird and leaves a bad taste in your mouth. But if I were to say, wait, here's a guy with lots of money and a great life, and he just goes through it and he just lives this wonderful thing, and then you as a female just jump ship off your life and get onto his and then just get on his program, then all of a sudden you're like, wow, I think you're onto something there. Yeah, we should be fun, entertaining money bags and wallets for women and have them just give up on whatever life they had before and just collect and just click on to ours like a goddamn lamprey. Somehow that makes more sense to you. But you know what? By all means, dissertate yourself. We're here. We're here now. Just go ahead.
So it's not really something that can be properly articulated that way, right? But basically, what she needs to think is that you are not predictable.
So she wants you to be the antithesis of a human being. You see, a lot of people don't seem to understand this, but human beings are habit-forming creatures. It's not even a thing that you think about. It might be a part of like just the base programming or the base, instincts of humans. But part of what we do is we create habits and we create things that we enjoy doing and we keep doing them repeatedly, right? Most people live an existence that is filled with predictable things, going through the same route to work, the same route back home from work, eating the same food, doing the same thing each day. That's being a human. Literally, your body temperature regulates itself through a state of homeostasis to regulate and be consistent. That's what it desires. You have something called a circadian rhythm, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, that literally, it's like a biological clock is the best way people describe it. It literally wakes you up or tries to wake you up at the same time you've been waking up over a period of time. Sometimes it takes 3 weeks, sometimes it takes a month. But your body will literally wake you up at the period of time you usually wake up. And I'm laughing because the idea, what we're about to dissortate is that the human female of the species desires the human male to operate in the complete opposite of how their literal brains function. Oh my gosh, and some, hell, God help me.
You are not predictable, right? Now that doesn't mean act like a schizo. That means every now and again you will have made some kind of executive decision and it's just happening and it's not up to her. For example, you can make the executive decision that you're getting this thing installed on your house. You're going to pay for it. It's yours. And she might not like it initially.
You do that enough times and see if you don't find her executive decision to break up your family. I'm sorry. I mean, I've spent too much time in the manosphere, but fam, women cheat. I'm not going to say all the time, but I mean, they can make the executive decision to cheat, even if you did everything right. I mean, granted, if you did everything wrong, it gives them not plausible deniability, but it gives them a reason as to why they had to find the dick of another man inside of them. I just needed it because you weren't paying enough attention to me, so I needed an extra dick. I find it so funny that some cheaters, this is male or female, they think that you didn't pay attention to me, so I had to go get smashed by someone. I wish we could pop these people just right in the mouth. You don't have to hurt them too, but just right in the mouth, right? Just for the nerve to say some bullshit like that. You know what I mean? The point that I'm making, ultimately, all jokes aside, is that relationships are not unilateral. And you can try to apply this. But without leverage, which is to say without a power dynamic, which is to say quite ironically in opposition to the thing that you were all nasty about, Christian, without that, you can't operate like this, stupid. You can't. You can't just tell a woman to do a thing unless she accepts that, well, it's not up to me. Women all the time decide the very furniture in their house. What makes you think that you just get to do a thing and they just were like, okay, well, I don't have an opinion. Okay. It requires quite a lot of capital, power, leverage, desire, and a little bit of a naive, somewhat stupid person. Because no thinking human being should ever realistically just let anyone make a unilateral decision that also affects them. Because that would mean that you have a total loss of control and power. Which, by the way, I remember you just said this.
It's not really something that can be properly articulated, that, though, right?
Kind of sounds like it's actually very easy to explain, but I digress.
But the point is, she's not bored, right?
So you're just going to do a thing to incite excitement or friction in your relationship so the woman isn't bored. My nigga, if you don't tell that bitch to take her happy ass to the motherfucking movies and cut out with this bullshit, what in the world? If you don't tell this bitch to buy herself a Game Boy SP and go ahead and head her ass to the Kanto region, play some motherfucking Pokemon Fire Red, and get this shit the fuck out of here, my boy. Continue. We're here. Continue.
She doesn't look at you like you're an NPC. She doesn't have a set of categories for you to achieve and then find you brilliant on paper but absolutely dull as dishwater to spend time with.
Look, on some real nigga type shit, fam, it really kind of just boils down to she doesn't think you're attractive. The thing about being attractive is that it has so much, genjutsu power that people really do make personalities for people they're attracted to. And I don't just mean that like in a parasocial sense. I mean literally like in front of them. Like when you're attracted to someone, you become easier to manipulate. You give them implicit trust. You care about them more. You're willing to do more for them. All those exciting things is probably what women are after. But God forbid they just say, I will give reckless abandon to people I'm attracted to, because that makes them sound foolish, stupid, and childish. So they kind of have to cover it up, but that's the reality of what's going on here, and that's really what all of this is about most of the time. Not all the time, but well, most of the time.
It's all about, there's charisma is obviously a large part of showing that you have a personality.
Yeah, but charisma really only takes you as far as people perceive it's acceptable. In fact, I remember growing up, man, I remember my friend once told me that people said I was cocky for no reason. and I would have to imagine that even to this day, people still probably believe I'm cocky for no reason. It taught me an interesting lesson that people only accept your confidence, people only accept your quote-unquote charisma if they think you are worthy of it, valuable of it, attractive enough to be of such in that regard. And sure, the attraction between a woman can be a little bit more complex than, you look like a superhero. Sure, that she can also be attracted to your money and power and things and whatnot. But regardless, it has to be, from her perspective, it has to be valuable. Again, it's still a real selfish desire. They're not really caring about you as a person. They really care about themselves as a person and what they can get from you. Not sure we should be placating that, to be honest with you. As I've gotten older in my age, I'm not really sure we should be placating that.
But the problem is a lot of men, the whole, pick-up artists and game theories and all that sort of stuff, that to me has always seemed, well, frankly, superfluous.
Well, it's only superfluous because if you're just attracted to a woman, she'll make up a personality for you. At the very least, she'll give you a lot more grace than she otherwise would give you. So, sure. But for those of you all who aren't just naturally attractive, you kind of have to become, well, a little bit of a clown. A rich clown, even. Man, it really sucks. Imagine a world where we just, give a damn about each other and not have to worry about how we perform for the other individual of which we wish to have sex with. God forbid we have that conversation.
If you have if you are an interesting person, you have a personality, and you have a direction in life, and you're trying to achieve things, and you're trying to actually make things come about in the world, then every woman I've ever dated, and I'm sure it's going to be the same even for young men now, will kind of fall into line with that.
Well, that would ironically suggest that she doesn't have a personality, nor does she have any desires in her own life, except but to give up on it and to just jump ship onto yours. I mean, look, if you like that, then you like that. But to me, that sounds like a lamprey. a parasite. Then I would say that sounds a little bit like a vampire.
You'll understand, all right, okay, he's doing this thing, and basically, you want to make sure that she's worried about maintaining what she already has.
Yeah, you can't make sure that she cares about your life is great, that she should be a part of this life and she should contribute to make sure that your peace is protected, to make sure that you're able to accomplish your goals very well. Nay, no. Like, there's not a thing she's supposed to do here. She's supposed to not be bored because you're her source of entertainment. You're supposed to maintain the life that you created, that she's now a part of, that had nothing to do with the creation of your great life.
I'm getting bored of it because your unpredictability throws open the doors of possibility, right? Again, I don't know necessarily how I'm supposed to explain this, actually. In a way, and I expect this to be taken the wrong way, but I can't think of a better way of framing it. You have to feel dangerous to her, right? As in, there have to be lines that she could cross that you would react to that she can't predict the outcome of.
Yeah, but Sargon, I don't think you're hearing what you're saying. I don't think it's clocking to you. Why would a woman that has a moral framework and integrity do that to begin with? Why in God's name would she ever even try to put herself in a situation that is dangerous? No offense, but she's an idiot. Okay? She's dumb. She's stupid. Like, if her boredom gets her to a point where she has to do dangerous things to feel alive and feel excitement, she's not a woman worthy of regard to begin with. You shouldn't even be with her. But hey, the punani probably feels real good, so who am I to tell you niggas to not give your lives away to a woman of such ill repute? Go off, kings.
Now, that doesn't mean, obviously, be violent.
Why not? I imagine ducking and dodging some strays from a man, it would be quite entertainment. Don't hit me. I imagine that'd be pretty exciting. So how come that's off the table since we're talking about being dangerous?
Things that like this I find totally fascinating, and I've seen this happen myself at least half a dozen times, where a woman, as Gia here says, a woman will train her man to become the very man she ends up cheating on. She pushes him to mirror her, softening, overthinking, losing his edge, and to grow bored and disgusted by what he's become.
So it once again sounds like the woman is entirely the problem there. Somehow a woman creates the man that she cheats on him with. So not only did she create the man, but she then goes against the vow she made, assuming they were married, or against the contract that is agreed upon, of which they are monogamous. And somehow in this arc of a story, this is what's so fascinating to me about people's mindset. I just don't understand how people love women so much that they refuse. They refuse to allow them to be a full-on human being, both either as a hero or as a villain. It's like people can only look at women just like as just a thing that is to be acted upon. I don't know what the flip is going on in their brain. You mean to tell me that you can describe a scenario? Let's write this down. Write it on a sheet of paper. The woman makes the man, she changes the man into someone that she cheats on. And in that arc of a story, y'all niggas say that it's the man's fault for change. My nigga, why couldn't the woman just leave the nigga alone? Why couldn't the woman not get on someone else's pogo stick? She could just not do it. She could just, it's literally a lack thereof in action. There is no magnetic force on earth that makes a woman get on another nigga's pogo stick. But somehow, in this arc of a story, you niggas still have to say it's Mitt's fault. I gotta go crazy. Oh my goodness gracious. So that being said, I actually hope you guys got something out of today's video. And if you did, I don't know, man, go and click the like button. Actually, go and click the subscribe button. Comment in the comment box below. And as always, you guys have yourselves a great day. I will see you cool cats soon. Adios.